Okay. Beautiful. I think we're giving them till 7:05, 2 more minutes. And then we will get going on this meeting. I'm going to go through some bullet points on how to start your Google Classroom and how to use it to better your classes. I've got to tell you, it's been a godsend. So, forgive the lighting. Oh, there's one in the waiting room. Admit. Hello, Brian. We are waiting. Let me see. We're waiting 1 more minute to see if anybody else joins, and then we're going to go ahead and start. Everybody's week going well. The weather is beautiful.
Yes,
Gotta tell you, I don't miss the hot summers. And it looks like we're supposed to get the same kind of weather this fall coming up. So that's also amazing. It is 7:05, so I'm going to start. Once again, for those who weren't here, I'm Natalie Jewell. I'm a teacher at HSC, and Miss Michelle Holiday has allowed me to come on here to help you all out to better be able to utilize Google Classroom. It is a free tool at your dispense. I mean, for your, what's wrong with me? At your fingertips. So here's what I do. When COVID hit, it hit all of us hard, and we had 3 days to go from being in the classroom to know how to use Zoom. And all of us were looking at, like most public school teachers got a week. We got a couple days because we wanted the students to feel like we were there for them. But one thing I noticed is that not everything translates well from classroom onto online. So for the first couple months, it was a little bit awkward, I would say. But then I discovered Google Classroom when Michelle had mentioned that we should try it out. Google Classroom has been my best friend. And now that I'm back after a few years teaching in person this year, I've got to tell you, I still use it. And it is amazing. I even use the video parts of it for classroom time. It absolutely takes away all of the edginess, the quietness, the awkward silences from the kids. It helps be a filler, and students nowadays know how to work with it. So we're going to go through bullet points. The first one is going to be setting up a class, and I'm going to do that for you guys. So we're going to go through all of these together. Let me go to Google Classroom and go down, turn that off, start over. Here we go. So I have Google Classroom on my favorites, and here's what it is. I have all of these are my classes that I'm teaching right now. And then you will also be able to see old archived classes, and we'll talk about these in a sec. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to classes, and I'm going to add one. What you do is you make sure you have a Gmail account. All of your students need to have a Gmail account. As long as you have any Gmail email, then here's what you do. You go to Google Classroom and you press create or join a class. And so let's create a class. I have read and fully understood that it is for schools, and I am a teacher, so I will continue. Let me see. I have a message. Are we supposed to do our own setup? You can do your own setup. Hopefully it doesn't mess you up too much. And do you use your personal Gmail or set up a separate account? I don't have, I had a personal Gmail, but I set up a new one that matches the emails that I use on Hotmail as well. So that's how I do it. So here we go. Class name. Let's see. I'm going to do chemistry HSC. Sorry, my table's wobbling. This is going to be semester 1. And then subject, I'm going to put science. The reason why you want to go ahead and put the subject is because they do a great job in doing cute little themes for you. Let's do science labs. And we don't need the room. And you just create and give it a second. It is that easy to create your classroom. It is done already. Sorry. This is my class. And this is setting up your class. And I just created a class. If I go back over here, you guys will see classes. And there's my chemistry HSC. It's right there. And I press on it. And that's my class. So once you set up your class, you could do history. And let me show you what those look like, by the way. Go to classroom. I have California history is right there. And I didn't, create this. It gave me the thing. Let me see. There's another history one with a pottery. It gives you a random theme, and the kids kind of like seeing that. So let's go back to the chemistry one I just created. And what you do is when you go to HSC, let me see if I have that on here. Instructor login. And do that. When you go to HSC, you want to look at your classes. Let me see, where do I have? I usually do this on the phone. So for fall, welcome Natalie Jewell, fall classes. So we're going to look at this one right here. And if you wanted to add a message to your students, payment terms, prerequisite, short description. So you could do that, or a welcome letter. In your welcome letter, you could go ahead and type down here what your ad code is. And here's your ad code. It's very easy to find. Do this. Open it up. This is your ad code. And you copy the invite link. And if I was going to put it over here, I would just, let me see. I don't think, how do you copy and paste into this thing? I think
Mike, you want to tell her how to copy paste?
there it is. So it's
Okay.
Control V. So I just added the Google Classroom code. So I should have put, and I'm not going to save it on my classroom here. So here's what, please register to the Google Classroom with the following link. You can also send, what I do is I send a personalized letter to all of my students, and each welcome letter has their own personal Google Classroom. And there it is. And they can copy and paste that. So I'm not going to save it on this one, but your students no longer will have to worry about where their homework is, where their assignments is. It's all going to be here. This is where they register, and you will be able to see them here in people. On my other classes where I already have students, let's say ancient history, people. These are my students right here. When you go to your students, you'll be able to see, let's say Michaela here. Let's say people. Michaela, there's Miss Michaela. She's at a B. I believe she's going to be at an A. She's got a couple assignments she's turning in, but there you go with all, you could see what she's turned in. You can see what she's returned. You could see what she's missing. So those are the people that sign up. Let's go back to our class. So once you do the ad code and you add that to your welcome letter, you go over here to your class settings. You already have it, class description, your invite code. You want to get rid of this notification so it doesn't fill your screen. And I do overall grades, total points. And I allow kids to see their grades so that they can stay on top of it all year. And now each child is going to have their own grades, and the grades are going to be here. And you'll be able to see it with, let's go to math, grades. And a couple of my students are on the ball. The other ones just spent the weekend sending me all new stuff. So I will be regrading things, but I'm able to see what my assignments are, and I will show you how to put those in. Let's go back to chemistry and see what was next. So you know how to do your class setup and setting ad code. Let's see, Jen Wong is coming in. Now over here is where the easy thing is. Google Classroom is as easy as an ATM to use. My husband and some other students use they use, what's it called? Canvas.
Canvas, ThinkWave.
Canvas. I have to tell you, it was hard to find out what his homework was. Even on the nights he asked me to look while he was at work, I couldn't figure out. My students come in here. If I have an announcement, I announce it here. It's like Facebook, and also post comments. And over here, classwork. This is where everything is. I'm going to show you how to create one, but before I show you how to create one, I'm also going to show you how, let's see, which class will I go to? Let's go to life science.
Natalie, can I interrupt real quick? It's Michelle. When it said announcements, that's where if there was some unforeseen circumstance or an emergency and you were
Yep.
going to be absent, you could post
And
it
I-
right there. So you don't have to worry about texting, and you just train your students and parents at the beginning of the year, log in if there's any message, if something comes up, right? That's where you put it.
Absolutely. These are classes right there where someone says I won't be able to do something, or all homework has to be done by tomorrow. I'll grade for the month of February, or I've done it to where I have posted on there, guys, I woke up so sick, I can't drive, you know, and then I still send texts and emails, but it's always on there. Let's go back to life science so they can see before I show them how to set up classwork. This is what it looks like. You've got week 13. I'm only 3 weeks away from finishing. Week 13, week 11, 7, 6, 5, 4. This class only has homework every couple weeks because of the way it's set up, but most of my classes is weekly, just like in math. Classwork is weekly. There they are. And they know how to do these. They go classwork, homework, week 12. This is it right there. And I usually do it. There's a test down here, and there's week 8, 9. You can see all the way to the first week of the semester. They know where to find their homework. They have no excuses. Every week it tells them when it's due. And then they go, they click in their homework, and they look at what they're doing. The student view side is different. Michelle, I will send you an ad code so that you can show them how to help their students get in. But everything is in there. So when I want to come in here, like let's say week 12 should have been turned in already, 4 turned in, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to grade tonight. Okay. And I make students, for my own personal sake, write everything by hand so that there's no cheating. And so I go in here and I look. Let me get rid of this from your site. There we go. And I can make it bigger so I can grade. And this person turned in 2 pages. And I can see what they've done. I make all my students turn in their class notes, and it's worth 10% of their grade. And the reason I do that is to prove to parents that they have been taught something in the class. Also, so that they can't say, hey, we weren't taught it in class. I have found that if they turn in their notes, that things go a lot easier. Let's close that, and I'll show you where it says instructions. The kids look in here, they see what their instructions are. It's worth 50 points. I made it due on May 3rd at midnight. This is section 8.5, what their pages are, what they have to do. I put show all your work so that they're not just asking Alexa what the answer is, because I have to tell you, my students have told me that they do that. And turn in notes for 10%. Chat, let's see. Mine doesn't say what yours does. Are we supposed to do our own setup? Let me see. I just clicked and didn't read it, so I don't know what it said. Do kids have difficulty getting to Google Classroom? No, the only time you're going to have anybody have difficulty is when a parent says, by the way, I don't have an email for my student. I have one, or I don't have a Gmail. And I tell them, go ahead and create one. It only takes 2 minutes to create a Gmail account. Well, then they'll say things like, well, I don't allow my kids to have an email. Great. I don't allow my boys who are in junior high to have phones, cell phones, but they could still use mine. So create a Gmail account for your student. Hold on, create a Gmail account. Let me stop share for 1 second so we can see. This is something that comes up every single year. I tell the parents, look, you can sign up with your name, but then I'm going to have your name on it. And then when you go for another student in another class, I'm still having your name on it. And it becomes confusing. Here's what you can do. Do your child a favor. Create a Gmail account under their name. Even make it their name or their nickname at gmail.com. Save the password, put it in your phone, give them the password. And then when they go to sign up for My Google Classroom, go ahead and put in their email account. They don't know the password. They don't know what it is. All they're going to get is the homework assignments from me. And if you don't want them to have it, then you can be there when they open them up. I've had no problems once a parent did that. I told them, keep the passwords and everything. Give it to them when they're 18. You just save them a domain name for Gmail. And when they're 18, you can hand it to them or whenever you think they're responsible. When that comes up, that question also reminds me on my first year of doing Google Classroom, one of the hardest things was a lot of these students have Gmail accounts for gaming. And when they have these Gmail accounts for gaming, they have gaming nicknames. These nicknames are things, number one, you don't want showing publicly. Number two, it gets confusing when they say, oh no, I'm, quick kid, number 234. I'm like, no, I need you to go in there, and it doesn't allow them to change their name. So I figured out, I told them, if you have something that a Gmail account that has your gaming nickname or whatever they call it, your gaming name on there, then create a new Google account with your name. I need your full name on there, and that's what's going to come up. It takes the student less than 5 minutes. Getting into My Google Classroom, I've had students do it in my class the first day. I make them pull out their phones. When I say, let's do this, let's register, and they register in there and they're like, look, I'm done. And I give them extra credit points for getting it done by the first week. So I also give grace. I usually say no late homework, but then after the second week, once they've gotten into it, I tell them any late homework you turned in on the first week, I'm going to give you grace and I'm going to go ahead and grade it because you were getting used to the Google Classroom. A lot of the kids have used Google Classroom or they've used Canvas. Google Classroom is a lot easier. They're concerned about Google having access to their student homework. I understand that. Most of the students that I have a Snapchat, have an Instagram, have a TikTok, have a stuff. They know how to do this. And when you see them in class and look what I just posted and you hear that, don't let them bamboozle you and say, I don't know how to do this, Miss Natalie. Yes, you do. You press enter, you register, you put your name in and click OK. It's that easy. It's easier than them signing up. And then I have kids who say, well, I don't have a phone. That I understand. So their moms turn in their homework. It's on their mom's phone and they don't have to worry about it. And all they do is they click a picture of it and they upload it and I grade it. Their moms have that for their charter schools. Their grades are in their charter schools. I also do tests and I do lab reports on Google Classroom, and they're able to use this to turn in once a month. And you have it there instead of you having to give it to the student and them saying my student didn't come home with it. I have Google Classroom for the first time with Canvas. There were sometimes difficulties depending on which server my class was on compared to other servers. No, I set up a module for every week, and in that module, everything they needed, the instructions, homework, video links. Yes, and I'm going to show you that right now. Absolutely love this thing, and it's so easy. So let's go per se with the chemistry. If I were going to, first we're going to do this and then I'm going to show you, I'm going to create a homework. and let's say an assignment. And I'm going to say title is, what is this, chemistry? We're gonna do lab report. Hold on. Lab report. Oh, let's do number 1. And then over here, please turn in your lab report and have the final and have the cover page attached. Over here, I'll do the due date, let's say Friday at midnight. And I'm gonna make it worth 200 points because lab reports, the ones that I in chemistry and biology, are pretty extensive. And I'm gonna create a topic. Over here, I'm gonna do homework week 1. And that's it. I'm going to assign. There I have homework week 1. When I want to create something else, mind you, look, I'm going to go back into an old post. I don't have one for chemistry, but I have biology. I'm going to go into a biology old class and go to lab. Those are the labs. Reuse. And I'm going to put this on homework. Let's see if it attaches week 1. And then I'm going to assign. Look, it just went right into my homework week 1. When you look at my life science classes, my life science classes are by weeks. They have a vocab, a study question, so the vocabulary is there. I've got 2 turned in already. It's not due until tomorrow, so I don't expect most of them will do it until tomorrow at 10. I've got study questions, only 1 turned in, and class participation in this class is where you turn in your notes and extra credit. And that's all the weeks that they have them in. Go back to chemistry. Now, one thing I did without showing you guys, I reused a post. Once you create all of these classes over here, these are my archived classes. This is where you're going to be in heaven. Next year, after doing all the work at the beginning of both semesters, I create one for every semester. At the beginning of every semester, I spend 1 to 2 weeks creating all the homework, turning everything in, all the materials, all the videos, and I'll show you how to do those. I save them when I'm done with them. I archive them. And I go back and let's say I'm teaching physical science at HSC. I press on this and I could say copy. And it creates a whole new class. It removes all of the turned in homework. It also removes all of the people who were registered, but it leaves in there, and let's do this. Copy of, I'm going to remove copy of, since I have to do this anyway for HSC. HSC, semester 1, copy. And now it's creating a whole classroom for me. You guys will never have to do this work again. I'm going to show you what you have to do every week. It takes about 30 seconds once you've created this Google Classroom. All right, now I can go back over here to my classes. And it is done. There is my class. Now I'm going to open it up. My people is empty. The grades are empty. But look at this. All my homework is still there. And mind you, I haven't taught physical science in 2 years. All my homework is still there. Every single one. I even made one that has the materials that they need by week. So that they don't want to buy everything at once. Don't have to. Give me 1 second. 1 second, guys. Sorry, my charger unplugged. Okay, so parents will ask you, what materials do I need for class? I have it under materials. And they know what they need for week 14 and for week 12. So they don't need to buy everything. They can start by buying just what they need for week 1 and then week 3, but they don't need to buy everything. Or they could buy everything and have their students have everything that they need. All of my homework is still there. So when I want to turn it in, let's say I'm in week 1, I go in, that's a draft now, I edit. This week 1 has no due date on it anymore, but it still has the same points. So I'll go in, I'll put a due date. And once I'm done doing that, and let's say time, if you're in class and you've already taught it, you can assign, or I could save the draft and then go in and turn it in later. Once I'm in class, I could press assign, and now the students can see it. On the students' end, they can't see any of this. They can only see what I post. So when I go back to the chemistry class that you guys have created, this is what they see. Homework week 1, and that's it, and it's open. And this has the attached, for example, like I said, I took it out of my biology. It has the attached paper for their lab, and then they make a lab report out of this. And they can either download this or they can just use this for when they create their own. They can't turn this into me. They have to have an actual lab report. But they have everything they need, and then they go and turn it in. Michelle, I'm going to go ahead and send you a class code. Let me copy invite. Go over here. I'm going to do new email. Get this out of the way. To Michelle, subject, and you guys would do a whole welcome letter with it. Chemistry, Google Classroom code, and here, paste. Michelle, I'm sending you this. If you can go ahead and join my class. I realize that this is a lot of information coming in at once, but I promise you, once you do your first class, your first week, it's going to be so easy. When do they have access to all of this? At registration, as soon as they register for your class and you send them the link, you can do that. Or you can wait until about a week before class and you know who's dropped, and you can send your welcome letter and you can send it to them then, so that you don't have kids who aren't in your class just registering into your class. Do we set up Google Classroom in connection with HSC or just on your own? Do it on your own, and then it's yours, and it's yours to keep forever. This is your class. You guys are entrepreneurs. The classes that you guys are creating are yours to keep. And these are so whenever Michelle needs you for another school or whatever you're doing, let's say she needs you for online, you have it. You could just press copy, make a copy, and that can be for your online students, or it could be for your in-person students. I understand the parents' concerns. Okay, so Michelle, were you able to join the class?
I haven't received the email yet.
Let's.
Also, while I'm waiting, I wanted to mention, because I know at first, like I mentioned to you, Natalie, and Holly, about how HSC would come in and buy this other version. And I was on about an hour conversation with Google last week. And really, for our purposes, I mean, we absolutely can do that. And if any of you teachers want to contact me separately and you would rather me manage it for you, but it's more like HSC has the controls. You know, you'd have to get in touch with me for any of the settings, and it's really ideal for a school. So I explained our situation and I said, look, I want the teachers to have all the bells and whistles that they need. I don't mind paying for them. If they did their own independent account, will they still have all the features that they need? And they said, yes, they will. The only thing that they don't do on the free account, you won't be able to video record. However, a lot of teachers are also opting not to use Google Meet and they use Zoom because Zoom has more security protection and you can record through Zoom.
Yep.
And Zoom even has, features where you can turn the kids off, the videos, just so you can archive those classes, and you can save it to a different drive, just like I'm doing right now.
Got it. Michelle, I sent you a response on the Zoom email. Let's see, did that come back in?
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and press in that. Reading, adding comments straight to the assignments.
I just joined it.
Beautiful. Let's do this. And it was in chemistry. People. Did I send you chemistry or did I send you physical science?
It looks like chemistry.
Let's refresh this. There she is. Michelle Holiday is now my student. She has not turned anything in. Michelle, go ahead and stop share. And I want you to share. If you could show them what your site looks like.
On
It's
my end.
a little bit different. There are just a couple buttons where they can turn in homework. And I'll walk you through it. It's even easier on their phone. Some of my students just downloaded the Google Classroom app and they have all their teachers on there. They take a picture of their work before they walk out of the class. They say, look, I turned it in, and they walk out. All right, now if you go to classwork and go to lab report number 1. Michelle, if you could go to view instructions. Now, Michelle, it doesn't really matter what you turn into me. If you turn in anything you have on your computer or even a picture you might have on there, do me a favor, or just add or create. Press next.
I have a picture.
There you go. Press got it. It's just giving you instructions. Now add or create, Michelle, on the top right there. Right there. This is where they go. You can either give me a link, a file, a picture, whatever you have there. Choose one of those, whatever's easier for you from your drive. There you go.
File or a picture?
Mhm. Yep. Any picture you want. Press browse. Oh, there you go. Fireplace.
My dream fireplace.
All right. Now just give it 1 second. Press got it. Now press turn in. Now turn in. Now here's where a lot of students, okay, it is already submitted. Now, Michelle, if you could go ahead and go to let me screen share. I'll go ahead. I don't have to. Okay, host disabled participant. Okay, then you're going to have to enable screen sharing or just let me be the host again.
You should be able to share.
Okay. I'm screen sharing. Now I'm going to go to what she turned in. Let's all look at it. Get that out of the way. Lab report. I have Michelle turned in fireplace. There's a beautiful fireplace. There she goes. Now, if that is what I accepted, I could give her 200. I return up here. Now she's graded. And I add, that is an amazing fireplace. You would write your comments of whatever comment you have of your student. So now she's going to get this on her end, and now she's got a grade. Also, I can do this. I can highlight an area to comment. Well, she doesn't have a paperwork. If she turned in a Word document, you can actually write onto the actual paper right there. There we go. It actually does let me do it. I love the blinds. And then comment there. And then over here, let's say I want to add a comment. They wrote an essay. I don't like this part. Okay. Right there. I asked for better notes. And then let's say I turn that in. She can actually see it on her side. Now she has comments on the paper. The parent can see it. The student can see it. And then they can also respond right here and send me a private message. So now I'm going to stop share a second. Michelle, could you go ahead and screen share and let us see what you got on your side?
Yeah, let me see where it.
Okay. Go back one. Okay, so Michelle, go up to view your work on top of homework. There you go. You got 200 out of 200. See if you could press on the lab report number 1. Okay, press on the picture. It's not showing the comments on that one. Go back to view details.
Right, yeah.
All right, it's amazing fireplace. Maybe it was because it was a picture. Press, no, go ahead and press fireplace on top again. I'm trying to see where you would send it. 3 advanced, 4 visibility. Yeah, no, that one for some reason is not working on a picture, but my students do see it when it's a Word document.
Mhm.
Michelle, could you go ahead and send me a message, please?
Go back.
Yes, ma'am. Right there, send me a message. You see this message. No other students see the message I sent you.
Just, there you go.
Right over there, the arrow. Now go back and look at your grade.
Back here.
Yes, ma'am. You're at 100%. If I would have given you 80, you would have been at 80%. Students can see all of their grades. Now, I have parents who 3 weeks ahead of the end of the semester who just last week decided to ask, how is my kid doing? So, junior high kids, they have spent all weekend redoing it, and the parents are actually seeing, wait, this one's missing, this one's missing, this one's missing. You're spending 10 hours this weekend redoing it. So this gives the parents a little bit of control as well. Michelle, would you mind letting me screen share?
Yep.
So this allows the parents to go ahead and see. I'm going to find out why that's not working on your end for a picture, but it does work for all of my students for their there's Michelle's comment. I have it, and I go back here and I look at grades, and Michelle is at 100%. My people still there, and there's classwork. I don't know if any of you guys have graders. I have, this year I'm using my sister-in-law, but I pay her $25 a student to grade because I have, let me see, 24 classes this year. I'm not, after working 5 days, I'm not going to spend all the time grading. She could use that money. And she's got a bachelor's degree, very educated. She's great at this. So what you do is you add whoever you want allowed in there, and I will add her right here. And so you guys will see, let's cancel this. I believe, I'm not sure which one I have. It might be math people. There we go. I have somebody invited there to go ahead and take a look. That's actually one of the IEMC, I believe that's Sky Mountain. It could be Sky Mountain or Sage Oak. It's one of the ESs, asked if she could have permission to take a look, and I told her fine. Now let me answer some more questions. Also, can you turn off public comments for students so they can't just add a bunch of random comments? Absolutely, let's do that. over here. Let's go back. I went too fast for you guys. On your front page, which is your stream, by the way, I would announce, welcome to, I would write something more than this. Chemistry semester 1. Post. So you guys have that post and they see it. But over here on the top, you go down and students can post and comment. You can put only teachers can post or comment. I usually let my students, they haven't lost their permission with that yet, but you can do whatever you want on there. Or students can only comment. All right, they can't post. I'm going to let you know why I allow students to post and comment. This comes in handy. Let me show you guys why this works with the little kids. I absolutely adore this feature. So let's go to handcrafted history. My students were posting videos of their final exams. I posted this one, but that was one of my things for the Olympics. I have students who posted things that they created and they will post it on there because they want to show and tell with the students. If you're teaching online, you can pull that up. If you're teaching in person, you can still pull it up. Let me see. Really cool ones. Look at this one. I still use it today to show kids what we're doing. This was, you know, a Mayan temple, and we did that in class after learning. The students absolutely love it. My junior high and high school students never use the stream. They're bored with it. They think I'm an old person. I'm not hip with TikTok or whatever. The young students use this. So I allow them to do that. And I tell them, go ahead and turn in all your, let your mom take pictures so that I can see it. And they love it. It's their little chance to show the students around them what they did without bringing their huge projects in. So let me see, what other comments do we have? Is there anything I can answer for you guys? I'm going to go through and make sure. Making copy of archive classes, I showed you that. How to take class participation and do extra credit. Okay. For extra credit, the one thing that Google Classroom does not have is extra credit. I beat the system by doing this. Let's say life science. Every week has a class participation. I created the class participation. It says you earn these points for engaging in class and discussing the subjects. It's not based on the right or wrong answers. It's based on you having fun and talking through things with us. Also, this is where you turn in your extra credit points that are added. If my student does something, they go to a museum, they do something extra in the book that I've allowed to be extra credit, they turn it in here. Also, this year, since I've implemented, you have to turn in your notes for 10%. They also turn in their notes here. The way extra credit works on this one is that you kind of beat the loophole. If you make class participation 10 points, but they also turn in extra credit, then what you do is you give them 15 points and it goes to overall grades. And so my students know that if they did something extra, if they did an extra assignment in the book, if they saw a movie and wrote something about it, they would turn that into their class participation. And I would give them more than 10 points, and that goes to their total points. That's how you beat the system for extra credit. Also, I'm sure, let's say art science, let's see if it's in here, in this one. Syllabus. I turn in the syllabus over here, and none of my parents this year wanted one, so I didn't post it. But your syllabus is also attached to your archive class. Go in and all you have to do is change the dates. That's it. And you don't have to create a new syllabus. And the syllabus is there for their ESs, for their charter schools, and for the parents. Over here, it says, you know, everything that is highlighted is mandatory. Everything else is extra credit. And I go through and I do every single one so that they know exactly what they can do. But my syllabus is attached. It is part of my my Google Classroom for Earth Science. Also, book pages. There have been times, chapter 1 book pages. Some of my classes, I have found the whole book online. On some of my classes, like this one, I've only found chapter 1. And so I allow this to be on there because some parents or some charters won't send them their books in time. So instead of a student saying, Miss Natalie, I don't have a book, I can't do my homework, you say, yes, you do. You have at least a month's worth of homework right here. And so I attached my book pages to the Google Classroom. Hold on. So Earth Science has on the side the syllabus, the book pages, the videos we'll get to. Those are my favorite parts. And those are the things that change the class forever. And I also put materials by week. And because I was teaching in person, I was bringing materials. So this class was not virtual this year. So I did not post the material because they didn't need to bring it. I was bringing it. When I teach virtual, I post this. I go into materials and I post that all on day one. Whereas with your homework week 1, you wait a week. Homework week 2, you wait till your second week. But on materials, you want to go through, once you archived it and copied it, post everything so the parents know. Because they'll ask, do you have a list of materials that we need? If you want them to bring materials. When I teach in person, I bring the materials. Videos are my favorite part of everything. I'm actually going through these right now. Here's why. When you have 1 hour to an hour and a half, it could get pretty mundane for kids nowadays who are used to a certain type of teaching to just listen to you talking. So what I do is, for example, Earth Science, solar system, all planets from the inside. Let's do defining gravity. So we were learning on week 11 gravity. So I go into week 11 and my kids see and they're like, that's awesome. Or an anatomy class, hey, do we have an Operation Ouch? I'm like, yes, we've got 3 of them. They love this girl. And so I'm going to just show you like 10 seconds of it so that you could see what I do is I'll show the video and then I'll pause.
If I told you that you just won the lottery, what would you do? If you're like me, you'd jump up and down and scream. And after you were done freaking out and jumping in the air, you'd...
And this is where I'd pause it and say, who here wants to win the lottery? And they would raise their hands and they get into it.
Land on your feet, right? Everything toward the ground, including you. Without the force of gravity, there would be no life on Earth. Air, water, animals, everything would fly off into space. There'd be no you, no me, no French fries, nada. Think of gravity.
And this is where I would say, what would happen to your toys, your trees? What would happen to the air around us if we didn't have a gravitational pull coming straight down to the core? Do you know why we have gravity? Can anybody guess? This is where they raise their hands. Close. Why else do you think? And this is where I tell them gravity is interlocked with how much mass something has. And the core of the earth is so thick. Who here knows what mass is in density? A bucket of cotton or a bucket of rock? They're both the same amount of the bucket, but which one's heavier? Why? Because we have more atoms in there, the tiny things. So that's how I use videos. I always get about 20 to 30 minutes of videos. This one had a little extra, but that's because I'm teaching this one 2 times a week this year. So I added videos. I usually only get 20 to 30 minutes of videos because as you're pausing and you're talking and you're teaching, you realize you don't need a whole hour. You're speaking for about 40 minutes, sometimes 45. You're speaking, they're speaking, and then you click the video again and you pause it where you have something. I'm also teaching kids, hey, if you could do 3 notes per video, then that's all I want from you. So I'm teaching my 6th graders who are just getting out of elementary school and getting into junior high how to note take. And they're actually taking notes better than high school students. So those are my favorite parts, is the actual videos that I post, and they will be in the classwork, and down here, you will notice that whole thing. Grades, you'll see the grades. I do it by total points. If any of you are math teachers and you can do weighted points, because down here you can do weighted points for grades. I don't know how to do that. So I just do total points. Makes it easier for my kids and my students. They know, hey, if I do 10 extra credit points, it's the same 10 points off of, the 25 points for that assignment. So I just need to do 2 extra credit points, assignments to almost make it up. So it makes it easier for them. But if you guys do weighted points for math or whatever, you could do that. Was there anything else I can help you guys with? Also turn off public comments. We did that. Holly.
Quick question for your class participation. Do you just add that as a homework category every week for every class? You just, copy and
Well,
paste or
technically I
whatever?
created it once and then I just reused post. I love that.
Okay,
Guys, you
Okay.
seriously only have to create something once. And then when you go the next week to assign something that's similar, you only reassign. So for example, I do the same thing every single week. Let's see. Let's go to math. So in my math class, every week they have we meet on Tuesdays and we meet on Thursdays. So if I want to create for this Thursday, in 2 days, I just reuse post and I go to Thursday homework and I change let's say I should have gone to week 13. I change this to week 14 and then I change just this info right here. I leave the show all your work. I leave the turn in your notes. I leave what it's worth. All I have to do is press no due dates. So, give them a due date. Let's get rid of that because I'm not going to use that. I don't redo my posts anymore. I just reuse them. Let's see. Extra credit class. If you input 10 total points for an extra credit assignment, how do you make it extra credit? So I don't do 10 points for extra credit. 10 points is for class participation. There is nothing worse than 8th graders sitting there at 9 a.m. in the morning who don't want to be awake and mom is making them either turn on Zoom or be in class and have all of them just sit and stare at you. So what I did is I created 10% of the grade as class participation. And I tell them, I don't care what you say. I'm going to turn on videos and then I'm going to need your hands raised. Just tell me one thing you learned from that video. I don't care which one of the videos. And they're all jumping for the easy ones. So you see them raising their hands, but what they don't realize, it's psychologically messing with them because they're going to be paying attention to every video trying to find something easy. When in fact, what they did without noticing is they watched all the videos. And once they do that and I take note, I go, okay, you got your 10 points. I always take, my kids see, I've got my tablet with me. I've got my Google Classroom. Sorry, Zoom there. My Google Classroom is, Google Classroom's always on. And I tell them I'm taking your class participation as we speak, right? And so that's what I do. When they turn in their extra credit, that goes on top of the 10 points. So if they turn in an extra credit worth 9 points and they turn one in that's worth 13, an extra 3 points, I give them 12 points on top of the 10. So they'll end up with 22 points. That goes to their overall grade. So Google Classroom didn't have to give me extra credit. I created it while at the same time solving an issue I have with junior high and high school students. So I pay attention, I get them to do their extra credit and I get them to do participation in the class. Isn't so boring. Everybody actually starts getting involved. Sorry, Jennifer, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I understand that. I think that's a great idea. I'm just confused on when you post the assignment, class participation, and you put in that it's worth 10 points. How can you make extra credit on top of that? Will it let you input 22 points instead of 10
Let's
points?
do that with Miss Michelle right now.
Thanks. Yeah, I was a little confused on that.
Yep, that's a great question. I'm going to go to classwork and I'm going to reuse a post. And let's go to a class that's biology, class participation. There we go. I'm going to make the due date tomorrow, midnight. Topic, homework week 1, because that's, by the way, once you press topic, the topics you've created are there. When you're creating your first one this year, there are your topics. But when you go in and you create a copy, all your topics that you've ever created are there. So when I want to create week 2, I just put create topic. So there's a sign. And I'm going to go in here and none turned in. There's not going to be anything turned in if they haven't done extra credit. but there will be something turned in. Wow, 100 points. I wonder what that was. I don't usually do 100 points. It's 10 points. So let's say Michelle turned something in. I'm going to give her 20 extra credit points. Watch this. 120. Return. If she turned something in, I would actually be able to open it up. I can't open up if she hasn't turned anything in. So all I see is this. But now I can go to the grades, and Michelle is at 106.67%. I have had students in the past who wanted to do every single extra credit assignment, and they ended up with like 130%. It was crazy. I love those kind of students. I did that in college and didn't have to take a final for my political science. I took everything he gave me. So that way you can always allot for days you may not feel good. Yes, the extra credit's there, and because it's worth the same amount of points, every point is weighed the same, it went to her total grade. So Miss Michelle's at 106%. Why does that help? And why do I tell students they should do that? What if there's a subject that you struggle with, guys? What if you struggle with photosynthesis and that's a hard subject? Well, then you won't have to worry too much if you get a couple of the questions wrong. What if mom, because you guys are homeschoolers, mom wants to take everybody to a Grand Canyon trip, and you know, we were at church and then we had a church potluck and we didn't get home in time, and I promise you, Miss Natalie, I didn't get a chance, and family visited from Kansas and we just could not do homework. And I look at them and say, you don't have to worry too much about it. Look, you have extra credit there. So you could still stay at an A. We're homeschool families. I can't expect them to be as rigid with what time they do their work like the public school kids. And so I give them a chance to do extra credit. So any other questions I can help with? Well, let me make sure I went through everything here. How to take class participation, do extra credit, make a copy of the archive classes, archiving the classes, add videos to the video list. You just go, I should show you guys this real quick. Let's say little lab coats and classwork. I have my videos, and let's say I wanted to add a video here. I would press edit, go over here, go to YouTube. And I am on the right. By the way, I make sure I have two YouTubes. One was created because I had a Google account, but I have a Google account. I have a YouTube account that I pay $9 for a month so that there are no ads. So you don't accidentally press on a video and some inappropriate ads go in there. So let's say I'm going to do, just going to say church right now, right? So just something that came to mind because I happened to be saying church a second ago. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to press share and just do the copy. That's it. I go over here and I do link, paste, add link. YouTube just started this about a month ago where you have to, it's making sure you want to do it. I add video. There it is. It's ready for me to show in class. And if I want to get rid of a video, it's as easy as press the X, press save, and my videos are right there. I spend a weekend, usually my first year while creating these. I have to create chemistry and I have 2 new classes this year. I will only do it 1 week at a time because doing the whole year is hard. I will do a syllabus before the school starts and put that. I'll put the book pages and I'll do the materials, but I won't find my videos or type in manually what my homework is every week. I'll do it on the weekends right before school class starts. And then I just reuse and I do the due dates and all of that. So you could go through on your weekends and do it. By the time the end of your semester is set, you have yourself, your class done. You tell your students, grab your homework, take a screenshot. I'm about to archive. They won't have access to it anymore. So then you archive, and next year, you don't have to spend any weekend doing any work. You just go to class, and while you're sitting in class, you say, hold on, click, click, click. I just posted the homework. It's ready for you guys as they're walking out. So, I think that was it. Guys, if there's anything else you guys need, Michelle has my number. You guys can either email me. It's jewelacademy20@hotmail.com. I can, let me post that on here. Let's do that.
Also, we're gonna do another one of these probably in July, I imagine.
Mhm.
And you did a great job, Natalie. Thank you.
Of course. And if there's anything else you guys need, take a screenshot or take a picture of that email, jewelacademy20@hotmail.com. I'll be happy to help you guys out because things come up just like you were asking about the extra credit that I don't think about because it's just automatic for me. So, like I said, this has been a lifesaver for homework. I don't have to come home with files anymore of their homework. I don't have to turn it. I tell them, keep it. Just take a picture, send it to me. I don't accept typed work anymore after all the cheating that's been going on. Just take a picture of your handwritten work, show all your work, turn it in. And this way parents also see that it's there. And things are easier for me. And the videos have changed just how much the energy in the classroom. Kids look forward to those videos. I've got to tell you, it changes everything. So-
And that's something to consider for teachers if they wanted to do. You can
Yeah.
still talk to me about live online classes because we could market to the whole East Coast. Also, I was
Absolutely.
going to say from a parent's point of view too, I got email notifications of grading that was done. So that's good too. If you have a parent that doesn't log in, they'll get
Yep.
notifications.
Absolutely. So everything's there. And by the way, it saves you because I had my math students come in for the first 2 weeks. All I kept hearing them say is, oh, my teacher never taught us this. No wonder we're so behind. And then turned out those same kids are the ones that don't turn in their work. And I go, you know why I make you turn in your notes? So your parents can see I do teach it. You're just not doing your homework. And so it saves you as a teacher when they have to write their notes and turn it in for 10%. Holly, you had a question, honey? Holly, you're muted, sweetheart. Oh,
I have another question about the class participation. So if they're not turning anything in for class participation, how do you actually grade that? Like I'm playing around as you're talking and I don't see a place to give a grade if it's not turned in.
yes, ma'am. Remember I gave, turn that off, that out of the way right here.
Okay.
Class participation graded 0. Even if turned in 0, I could press one of these. And right here, it'll show down the bottom their names and it'll give you a place to put a grade. And don't forget to press outside of the box and press return. As soon as you press return, it has been graded.
Okay.
You won't see the assignment like her fireplace pop up because nothing's been turned in. But if
Right.
something has been turned in, it'll pop up. So I have students who I want to give them a 0, but they haven't, I want to start grading a homework. And the first one I press on hasn't turned anything in. So what I do is I scan for the person who turned something in, I press theirs. And the cool thing is, let me show you how that looks on our end. And I should have done that. Let's say ancient history, right? And I can go to classwork. I know for a fact, I know some students haven't done it. The kids that are assigned haven't done it. So watch this. If I press on theirs, nothing happens. But if I go to turned in, look at this. I press that. This is now what you're going to start seeing. This kid, I'm going to grade him. And then over here, you could do the arrow. That's the next kid. You do the arrow. That's the next kid. So it makes it easier. As soon as one kid turns it in, it opens this up.
Got it.
Nobody's turned it in, just give straight zeros down the line. So you'll love it. So there's my email. I'm available. Michelle, anytime you want to do this again, I'm available. And teachers, I promise you, the videos really do help. And the videos and the class participation, using the videos and telling your junior high and high school students that they have to find something on there to get their participation points, all of a sudden wakes them up. So All right. Michelle, I think you recorded this. Thank you. Could